Hello and welcome to the theElpyDimension. I am your guide, Elpy, about to take you into the new blue worm bin. I will post a video here for the creation of this bin, how I put it together, how I made this bin, brand new bin, and I purposely put it together as though I were someone who didn't already have any worm farms or compost if you wanted to start from scratch. Otherwise, I would have added some compost or worm castings to help sort of inoculate the bin. That being said, I put that together on the 13th. I collected 67 blue worms from my existing bins. I had hoped to collect more, but I found that to be rather difficult to get even 100 worms. I had said maybe at least 100, maybe 200. No, I got 67. I believe the population is, my blue worm bin, the population is lower because of colder temperatures. That being said, that is one thing I am a little bit intimidated about with this bin, is that it's in my basement, which is currently about 66 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius. My conversion there might be off. I'm just judging from this little thermometer that I have. So it's kind of chilly down here. Temperatures are dropping. Today is the 4th of October, 2024. We have not had any frost yet, but our nights are dipping down into the low 50s, the high 40s. I see in the coming weeks we do have low 40s and high 30s. That being said, down here in my basement, I stay between 50 and 60 degrees Fahrenheit, which is, what, like 15 and 20 degrees Celsius, somewhere around there. So blue worms are, if you don't already know, blue worms, also referred to as Indian worms or Malaysian blue worms, Indian blue worms or Malaysian blue worms, or Perionyx excavatus is their scientific name. They are tropical worms. So I might wind up having to bring these guys upstairs for the winter, because normally they do survive in my other bins, but they also have the activity and the warmth that is a byproduct of decomposition of compost from the other worms, the red wigglers and the European night crawlers. So in a bin by themselves, they aren't getting the higher activity of worms that can stand a little bit of colder temperatures. So we'll see, but those are just some thoughts going into this bin. Okay, I can't believe it, but it's actually been 10 days. The last time I checked in here was the 24th. So I put them in on the 18th. 6 days later, I was back in here checking on them on the 24th. And I've not managed to get down here until today, again, the 4th of October, which is 10 days later. And I feel crazy for that, because this, a new bin makes me feel like nobody on the blanket except for fruit flies. Makes me feel like a new worm farmer when you just always want to mess with them. Last time I was in here, I believe I said that I'm not going to, not until the 18th, around the 18th of October, am I going to take the time to count, to carefully navigate, to sort this bin and count exactly how many worms I have in here. So until then, I'm just looking at them and getting a rough look. Last time, I guess that there are still a lot who are alive. I guessed I could safely say 20 to 30. Now, I'm not saying that I don't think there's more than 20 or 30, but I'm saying there's no less than 20 worms in here. So, all right, last time I fed them some, I was talking to you about a viewer who had shared with me what they knew, sort of the science behind worms, and right off the bat, I see a worm tail. I don't think I can zoom in with this sort of, the resolution I'm using. Yeah, there he goes. So they were telling me I had way too much paper, which, I was kind of like, why do you say that? I've always used a lot of paper, and I don't really think you can have too much bedding. But they made a good argument that this is an inert, rather nutritionless material. That makes sense to me. I know that commercial worm farmers use cocoa coir and or peat moss, among other things. but I'm not going to buy anything for my worms. That's not the purpose of my worm bins. I mean, I do buy like I do buy some micronutrients. I take that back. But that like azomite, neem cake, alfalfa meal, that I use very sparingly in my dry mix. Food grade diatomaceous earth, I also use in here, and crushed oyster shells on occasion. So I don't buy those very often. And they're also things that's for the benefit of the garden, ultimately for the casting. So the crushed... sorry for the angry bird. So the crushed oysters, though, is a good grit for them, as well as a calcium source, which is important for worms. And the alfalfa, I believe, can help with... Anyways. Okay, so I said that I gave them some pak choi. I added more... Okay, blah, blah, blah. So I went into that lecture to say that... that I considered what they're saying, and I'm still going to use a lot of paper. However, I will add some more organic matter as I am able to get it. And I had some dried plant matter like flower stems, and I added that in here as well. I fed them some dying bunches of pak choi, small pak choi leaves, and then I put a layer, essentially a layer, not a complete layer, of carrot tops. I kind of spread them out on here and then layered it with this wet shredded paper. So that I don't usually do, but let's see how... we'll start here. Okay. This, you see all these, they kind of do look like little mouse turds almost. All these little black grains those are worm castings. So the worms are making their way, worm poop for those who don't know. They're making their way across the top. And I see that we don't see any evidence, again, it's been 10 days, of the leaves of the carrot tops. Here are the stems. Besides that one worm tail we saw a minute ago, I don't see anybody, which is not a surprise. Okay, so this is where, yeah, I saw worms down there. I also see fruit fly maggots. So this is where I put the dried, basically flower stem, plant matter stems. They've been dead for some time. So there's a worm down there. Moving quickly. Actually, there's two. So we got two for sure. And what's cool, I'm thinking about adding this. This is going to take a while to break down. It's a woody stem, especially the base of it. This was from my Shungiku edible chrysanthemum. Is that this will allow for some more airflow in there. So that's a cool benefit. I'm not going to keep chasing those worms. We're going to stick to what we're doing over here. So I think this was a plate from the first feeding that I did, was a very small amount of chopped up peppers. This is a paper plate. And I think I sort of spread out where I put the pak choi. I did just see another worm crawl away from us, so I can say for sure there's like 4. Here's one. We are not in the same area as that is a mature worm, which I grabbed all the worms I could. So they were all different sizes. And also when I made the bin, I grabbed a worm. So that's 2. And we won't count the worms we saw over there. We're going to start with, I just put these 2 here. So we'll try to move through here a little bit faster. I did put a lot of soil in here. I know that composting worms are not soil worms. I was just listening to an older live today talking about how they will not survive in just soil. They need a lot of organic matter. But I still believe it's important and makes sense to add soil for the microbes. And I thought maybe grit, but I could be wrong. Okay, so here's 2 and 3 worms right there in the cardboard, which is not a surprise. There's a 4th. So we've got 6, including our 2 over here. Hopefully they didn't run away, and then we'll get counted again, but this isn't an exact science right now, remember. So we know we have 6 for sure. There's a 7th. I see a worm. There's a worm right there. 8. With the soil, it's definitely moist, but it's not, well, let's make sure no one's in here. Oh, there's someone in there. We'll call that 9. Yeah, so a couple drops came out of that. This is wetter than I think. So that's good. So we've got 9 worms so far. Again, I got to keep reminding myself I'm not trying to count them all. I'm just checking on them. Okay, so I think this was where I put the majority I see a bunch of matter. So where are we at? 9, 10, 11, 12. I think, did I put some strawberries in here? I thought I saw what I put in here. But there's some cardboard. And look how active. I'm going to jump ahead and say we know we got 13. Probably even 14 in there. I'm not gonna do too much. But that's where I did put more of the pak choi, I believe. I didn't know what all the grainy material was. But you see that looks like seeds. Yeah, oh, those were like shungiku flowers. Those are shungiku seeds. All right, so let's go ahead, since I didn't dig through that. I'm gonna raise the estimate and say 15. Again, I'm not gonna get too aggressive in my searching here. There's a lot of 14. A lot of soil in here. So I think I want to potentially add, we're going to call that 16. Here's 17. Bin is not on a stable surface. I'm just going to upturn this whole side. All right. 18, 19, 20. It seems more moist over here, so it's no surprise to find the worms. 21. So I think I do want to add more water to this bin. I think I should also add more paper products to the bottom, or other than soil. I got a lot of soil down there, which I should, whoops, put this back. All right, based on this rough look, safe to, we definitely have at least 20 worms in here. There's reason to believe there's a lot more than 20. But I think I'm going to stick with what I said last time. I think pretty safe to say there's 2 or 3. Yeah, I think it's safe to say there's probably at least 30 in here. I'm not comfortable saying, at this point, if I'm going to be totally honest, I'm not 100% comfortable saying that I think all 67 are still alive. I've not seen any dead worms in the vicinity to say that they left. They would have to crawl at least 5 to 6 feet to get to one of the other bins. So if there aren't 67 worms in here, then it's because they died. I'm not 100% sure that there are 67 worms. I've got some toilet paper rolls, actually with hair in it. Don't be grossed out. It is organic matter. No, I don't use products. I wash my hair and condition it, but I don't use like hairspray or other products. When I do, I don't use that hair. So I'm going to add some more organic matter. I also have, we'll go ahead and add that now. I'm going to throw this piece of paper towel in there. And I've been saving seeds lately. So this is dried petals, dried flowers left over from what I didn't use. And we've got a banana peel and half of a dragon fruit that we're going to feed today. And yeah, half of the skin of it. I know that's a lot for what could be only 30 worms, but I believe, actually I'm going to feed it here. I believe that's the way to go. All right, so let me time out. Well, I put the toilet paper rolls in this paper have been sitting in water, and so they kind of came undone. But you see, there's hair in there. Here's our banana peel. sort of put that down in there. We're going to put, and I got my dry mix and put it in water. And this is a peat pot, a plant peat pot. I do not like these, to be totally honest. I mean, I like their idea, but they dry out so fast for me. And I'm going to sacrifice this one. So we'll add a little bit of the dry mix that is now wet. I'm going to spread that out more throughout the bin. This we're going to put the dragon fruit. Well, actually the banana would have been better in there. So I take that back because the dragon fruit would be hard. I'd have to like smash it down. So we'll put the banana in there. And then we're going to take, let's go ahead and take some of the shredded paper from last time that I put on top and sort of tuck it down in there with them, or with the food. And I'll pour a little bit more of this. All right. Now, we're going to put the dragon fruit probably in the opposite corner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to return this over there, cover it up. Actually, maybe we'll go to this front corner. Okay, these are the leftover carrot stems. We'll kind of carve out this corner. Last time, guys, I said I thought I couldn't figure out what these little black dots are, and they are, in fact, they are okra seeds. There's one of our little guys. All right. So, again, I've got organic matter. Actually, we're going to put that on top. I picked some amaranth, red stalk amaranth, and some zinnia. I had it in a vase, and they're dying. And they're going to go in here. Some of them. Okay. Then I've got this McDonald's bag. That we're going to put our beautiful dragon fruit skin in. Okay, now put paper towel. We'll put this flower head in there. Something is running away. A spider. You better get out of there, buddy. Okay. So this I'm actually going to lay over the top more than, but we'll put some of the seeds in there. We'll throw that. Maybe we'll put another zinnia seed and we'll top it off with the rest of our dry mix slush. All right. Now we'll take the paper from last time again. We'll cover that up. We'll spread sort of everything around here. And last time we had the greens of the carrot tops that were the blanket. This time we're going to have dry amaranth as the blanket. Well, part of the blanket. I'm still putting those pieces of cardboard. And then we got, these are a couple of the stems from the zinnia. So, okay, we've added more organic matter this time. I am going to add a decent amount of water. This is also, pretty sure that's a remnant azomite. Again, I want to encourage breeding, so I'm going to keep this bin really moist. There's a lot of, I think that's good. All right, so this is the second check-in of the new blue worm bin after 10 days. There was some remnants of the skin, this is a piece of wood, bark actually. Remnants, the last feeding was pak choi, the stems of the pak choi. They also look like they were kind of trying to grow. But I'd say we can count on 30 worms in here. We saw, I think we can say 20 absolutely, but I'm going to round up and say I bet there's 30 for sure. 67, I don't know, we'll see. We've got a banana peel over here and half of a dragon fruit peel over there. We've added a lot more water. We've added some more organic matter in, so the dead flowers will also serve as food. And yeah, all right, let me know what you think. I'm still very excited, though a little bit intimidated about this bin, and I look forward, I anxiously await the check-in for on the 18th when I actually count. I am going to not let 10 days pass before I check in the next time. The first time it was 6 days, this time it was 10 days. And we'll see what I might want to get a thermometer for this bin, but this is our worm blanket. You see, I've kind of filled it up even more, so I'm not going to want to get any more full with this bin. I'm 3/4 of the way full with material. All right, I appreciate your time. I appreciate your interest. I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Thank you. Be safe. Be well. Bye for now.